Well, tonight, the Fox News at Night Common Sense Department has thoughts on yet another college commencement speech. This one delivered by President Biden at Morehouse College in Atlanta, a traditionally black college. But instead of offering a speech filled with congratulations, good luck, and go get 'em, the president decided the graduates needed a more sober speech, replete with heavy doses of gloom, doom, and racial divide, essentially telling the graduates that democracy does not work for them and their country hates them. Aside from that, Joe Biden pretty much covered the spectrum, telling them they would need to be 10 times better than anyone to get a fair shake. And if they stood in line to vote in Georgia, there would be no water available to them. The president didn't say who exactly was planning to withhold all of this democracy, love, jobs, and water. But common sense thinks if recent history is any indication, it's a good bet that Mr. Biden, the very man who promised to unite the country, is again blaming MAGA Republicans, is again accusing half the country of being haters. It's a good thing the president is a liberal Catholic candidate in D.C. and not a conservative Catholic kicker in Kansas City. Because if Biden was Butker, common sense thinks he'd be kicking for a brand new team in the fall. Let's bring in JL Partners, Polls Director Scarlett Maguire, and Steamboat Institute Fellow Kaylee McGhee-White. It's great to have both of you on. Scarlett on set, which is great to see you for the first time. Kaylee, to you first. Bill Maher was on Gutfeld tonight. He was asked about Biden's speech, and he said this.
We're not in the past. I always keep saying, let's live in the year we're living in. We're not living in the year where you have to be 10 times better. To succeed if you're a person of color. We're not living in that world that he's talking about. And I don't think that helps anybody.
What do you think, Kaylee? What was your take on the speech this weekend?
Well, I think back to even a couple of administrations ago, to the Obama administration. Do you remember Barack Obama's famous campaign pitch, which was about hope? Think about how far Joe Biden has gotten from that message, which he ran on as vice president. And as Kevin mentioned, this is doom and gloom over and over again. And it's why he's losing minority voters faster than he loses his train of thought. Because people don't want a constant message of negativity, and they don't want the constant negativity that accompanies his policies.
Yeah, and she's right. I mean, the numbers here, Scarlett, you look at them because this is Pew Research. Voter preference among black voters 18 to 49. Biden, lean Biden, 68%. Trump, lean Trump, 29%. I mean, you look at this April 13th, those numbers have shifted in President Trump's direction here, and it's got to be very frightening for the Democrats.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that speech made it look like that both Biden and his team were very panicked about this. They're worried about his base falling away, especially in this case, black voters. That margin was 59 points. Now it was 85 points back in 2016. And if you think about where he was giving that speech in Georgia, if black turnout drops by 1% in Georgia, Trump takes the state. So I think they are very worried, and that's why they're acting like this.
Yeah, especially in battleground states. You're exactly right there. So meantime, you have FoxNews.com saying the following here. This is about Cardi B. Under Biden, Cardi B says she felt layers and layers of disappointment from what she sees as domestic and foreign mismanagement. The cost of living is too high, wages are too low, and too little is being done about it, she says. I feel like people got betrayed. Cardi B has some sway, and the whole concept here is, I think Scarlett's right, Kaylee, is that, you move 1 or 2%. It's a bigger number than that now, but you move 1 or 2%, and that is a huge impact.
Yeah, and not that Cardi B is some sage of wisdom, but the sentiment that she's expressing here is actually common among all of the demographics that Biden is losing right now, including minority voters, including working class voters, and including my demographic, young adults. And that is because she's right. He has betrayed them. He took them for granted. They turned out for him in 2020 by large margins. And what did he do? He turned around and implemented an agenda that certainly did not benefit them, but it did benefit his donor class, the rich, educated elites in Hollywood and New York City.
Yeah, and while the president was at that speech at Morehouse College, one of the graduate students called for a full ceasefire. And we'll play this sound and watch this because you can see President Biden actually clapping in this. Watch.
To call for an immediate and a permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
I mean, that's the whole thing is is that people say, oh, no, we're with Israel, but he wants a ceasefire. There's no talk at all, Scarlett, about bringing those hostages home. And Hamas needs to surrender. It's all about a ceasefire, and everybody needs to drop their thing. And Israel's just not going to do it.
Well, no, and this is his worst performing issue. I mean, it's not as if he's doing well on other things either. You know, he's doing terribly on the economy and immigration, but his handling of the conflict with Israel and in the Middle East is by far his worst rated performance. I think now what you're seeing is that he's trying to keep both sides happy because he knows he's losing and he's hurting everyone. No one is happy with how he's doing, and that's why he's doing quite so badly. Yeah,
and I got to go, Kaylee, but I just want to get your take because Queen really is. She's right. It's like you've got to play both sides. You got to make everybody happy, and that's not really the way elections work.
No, listen, the kids on college campuses who are screaming Genocide Joe at Joe Biden are not going to change their minds about him. And so the fact that he's trying to cater to this ideological fringe is just going to set his campaign up for disappointment come November.
Yeah, Kaylee McGhee-White, Scarlett, thank you both for coming on. Great to see you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.